There's a dark side to the NBA that doesn't always make the highlight reels. Moments where players, coaches, and even referees got caught bending or straight up breaking the rules. We like to celebrate the game-winning shots, the iconic crossovers, and the championship runs, but behind the glitz and glamour, some have taken shortcuts, intentionally or not, that cross the line. From performance-enhancing drugs to rigging games and manipulating the salary cap, this is a deep dive into the biggest cheating scandals in NBA history. Let's begin with what many consider the most damaging cheating scandal to ever hit the league, the Tim Donaghy affair. Donaghy was a veteran NBA referee with over a decade of experience, and for years he was quietly betting on games, many of which he was officiating. The scandal broke in 2007 and rocked the foundation of NBA credibility. Donaghy admitted to making calls that affected point spreads and outcomes, all while working with organized crime groups who profited off the information. This wasn't just a rogue ref, it was a betrayal that made fans question whether games were truly fair. Now let's shift from referees to players, because some of them have found ways to break the rules off the court in shocking ways. One of the most bizarre incidents involved Gilbert Arenas and Javaris Crittenton, who were both playing for the Washington Wizards in 2009. During a heated argument over a card game debt, things escalated to the point where both players brought guns into the team locker room. Arenas reportedly laid out multiple firearms in front of Crittenton's locker with a note that read, "Pick one." The NBA handed down suspensions, and both players saw their careers spiral afterward. Then we have performance-enhancing drugs, a topic that doesn't get as much attention in the NBA as it does in leagues like the NFL or MLB, but it definitely exists. O.J. Mayo was once considered a future star, but his career took a nosedive after he was dismissed from the NBA for violating the league's anti-drug program. His suspension was so severe that he was banned for 2 full seasons. Joakim Noah, a former Defensive Player of the Year, received a 20-game suspension for using a banned substance. Rashard Lewis, another former All-Star, also served a 10-game suspension. While the league doesn't have frequent PED cases, these instances prove that some players have been willing to cross the line. Now let's talk about flopping. It might not seem like cheating in the traditional sense, but it's definitely a form of deception designed to manipulate referees and gain an unfair advantage. Some players have turned flopping into an art form. Marcus Smart has built a reputation for drawing charges that seem borderline theatrical. LeBron James, despite being one of the strongest players in the league, has been seen exaggerating contact in ways that leave fans shaking their heads. Chris Paul is notorious for drawing fouls through clever, some might say sneaky, positioning. The league even introduced fines for flopping, but that hasn't completely stopped it. Speaking of bending the rules, we have to mention Draymond Green. Love him or hate him, Green is one of the most polarizing players in the league. His aggressive style of play often borders on reckless, and he's had several incidents that fans have labeled as dirty. During the 2016 playoffs, Green was accused of intentionally kicking opponents, and one of those kicks infamously hit Steven Adams below the belt. He eventually received a flagrant foul that led to a 1-game suspension in the NBA Finals, something that arguably swung the series in Cleveland's favor. Some call it passion, others call it dirty play. But cheating in the NBA isn't limited to on-court actions. Sometimes it happens behind the scenes, deep in the front office. In the late 1990s, the Minnesota Timberwolves were caught engaging in one of the most elaborate salary cap violations in league history. They had a secret deal with forward Joe Smith that involved paying him under the table over several seasons so they could use their cap space elsewhere. When the NBA found out, it came down hard, fining the team $3.5 million and stripping them of 5 first-round draft picks. The scandal was so damaging that it crippled the Timberwolves' ability to build a competitive team for years. And then there's one of the longest-standing conspiracy theories in NBA lore, the 1985 draft lottery. That year, the NBA introduced the lottery system, and the New York Knicks, desperately in need of a superstar, won the right to draft Patrick Ewing. The problem? The lottery was done using envelopes in a spinning drum, and the envelope with the Knicks logo allegedly had a bent corner or was frozen to make it easier to pick. Many fans believe the league rigged the draft to help revive the struggling New York market. There's no proof, but the suspicion lingers to this day. While many scandals are widely known, there are a few lesser-discussed cases that deserve the spotlight too. Take the case of J.R. Smith during his early career. While not a cheating scandal in the traditional sense, Smith frequently skirted the line with conduct violations and suspensions. He once untied opponents' shoelaces during free throws, twice. Though it sounds like a joke, it raised real questions about sportsmanship and ethics. The league had to step in and warn him before he finally stopped. Then there's the strange saga of the Sacramento Kings in the early 2000s, particularly the 2002 Western Conference Finals against the Lakers. Many fans, and even some analysts, believe that the referees gave the Lakers an unfair advantage in Game 6, especially with a flurry of questionable foul calls in the fourth quarter. Tim Donaghy himself later claimed the game was manipulated to ensure a Game 7, though his credibility was already in shambles. While no formal punishment was ever handed out, this game remains one of the most debated in NBA history. On the coaching side, there's also a scandal involving tampering, where teams make illegal contact with players under contract with other teams. Magic Johnson, during his time as Lakers president, was fined multiple times for tampering, including public comments about players like Paul George and Giannis Antetokounmpo. Tampering may not be as scandalous as PEDs or gambling, but it still undermines the rules that keep the league fair and balanced. Now let's go even deeper. Why do players and teams cheat in the first place? The answer is simple. The pressure to win in the NBA is immense. Careers are short, the competition is fierce, and a single playoff run can define a legacy. For front offices, it's about building a championship team without breaking the bank. For players, it's about staying healthy, performing at elite levels, and securing max contracts. In that kind of high-stakes environment, some people take shortcuts, either because they feel they have no choice, or because they think they can get away with it. But the impact goes beyond the individuals involved. When cheating is exposed, it damages trust. Fans start to question the legitimacy of the outcomes. Players lose respect among their peers. Entire franchises can feel the effects for years. Just look at how the Timberwolves' illegal deal with Joe Smith set their rebuild back by nearly a decade. Or how Tim Donaghy's scandal gave fuel to every conspiracy theorist who already thought the league was rigged. And the NBA knows this. That's why the league has been stepping up enforcement, increasing transparency, and issuing harsher penalties. They've introduced player tracking, advanced analytics, and even anonymous tip lines to catch behavior that doesn't show up in the box score. Still, as long as there's something to gain, someone will try to find an edge. At the end of the day, cheating in the NBA comes in many forms, some obvious, some subtle. From illegal trades and tampering to on-court flops and dirty plays, the league has seen it all.
Check one, check.
What matters most is how those situations are handled, both by the league and by fans. Do we forgive and forget, or do we hold players and teams accountable no matter how big their names are? Which of these stories do you think was the most shocking? Do you think there are cheating scandals the NBA has swept under the rug? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to